So what I did want to share with you from Simon Mitchell tonight, it actually just reminded me, and Tanya will remember this. So you know how we talk about how important our why is, and they say that your why has got to be so powerful that it can either make you cry with happiness and joy, the thought of getting there, or the thought of not getting there makes you cry with despair. Well, he's changed it up a little bit. I really love it. Because basically it says, instead of your why, you need to say to yourself, why must, and the emphasis on must. Why must this happen? I've just noticed in the chat that, Michelle, you're saying you registered for it. Basically at about 6:10, an email came and you had to actually quickly click on it and fill a few things in, do a password and go into it. So just check your email. If it's not there, let me know and I'll see if I can actually just forward you the email and see if it works for you. So I'm not really sure how it works. All right, so back to what we were saying. I'm just going to do a different screen so I can see the chat. Okay, so why must this happen? And I'm not actually going to share mine tonight, but we've just got some things happening in our life, whereas I know what my general why is, and it actually doesn't make me cry, the thought of getting there. It makes me very happy, but it doesn't make me cry. And the thought of not getting there, it's a little bit the same. So it's quite strong for me to think what Simon's saying. Why must this happen? So for me, why must this happen? Because I'm 63 now and I want my level of income to be where I want it to be in the next 3 years. And I feel now that if I don't grasp this now and make that happen in the next 3 to 5 years, it's not that my Juice Plus is going away and I'll probably still keep getting a nice income, but if I want to double my income, which is what my goal is at the moment, that's what I have to think. I must do it now because I ain't getting any younger. So I want you all the next few days to do it privately and say to yourself, why must my success with Juice Plus happen? Why must it happen? Okay. He also said, and this was really strongly, so don't worry too much if you've missed the first one because it's Simon's typical getting excited and challenging you, etc. But he's basically saying it doesn't matter how much you learn, it doesn't matter how many Zoom calls you go on to get motivated and inspired, it doesn't matter how many rah-rah events you go to, it always comes back to you and action. If you're not prepared to actually do stuff, do what you're learning and do what you're hearing and actually put into action, it cannot happen. And I sort of squirmed in my corner because I'm not doing nearly as much as I could do. But, you know, that's it. That's a choice thing. So all of us, as my favorite expression is, sometimes we have to look in the mirror. You have to show up and commit. The 3 things I want to talk about tonight, first of all, now you probably remember a couple of weeks ago, I prepared a document and it's our Team Angels Getting Started sheet. It's one single sheet as opposed to the Getting Started 1, 2 and 3, which is really everything you need to know about our business, which you could teach people. All I want you guys to really focus on, and I don't know if any of you actually, you might have saved it, but did you print it out? So who would like to get a franchisee in the next week, next 2 weeks, next week or 2? We all would. I certainly would. So I'm hoping people are putting up their hands because some of you are just on photos. That's okay. But basically, when we actually have a look at this document that I prepared, you absolutely, I can only plead with you, don't worry. I mean, obviously, when you've got someone sitting there with you and you're going through this, and you will definitely give them a copy of this as well to take home. Obviously, you're going to digress a little bit and get sidetracked and talk about a few other things. But basically, this sheet needs to be covered. It really does. So my suggestion to you after tonight is to get that out and refresh yourself so you are ready to go. And I know there's a few people on the call tonight that, you know, you can get someone ready to sign up, but if they're going to do anything, no, they're not necessarily. But if you've got someone hot to trot, you need to be on the pace. Basically, just to refresh you, It's really just basic steps to start a new franchisee. It's an outline only. They can learn the rest as they go. Whereas with the training 1, 2, and 3, it's a fantastic thing, particularly if you've got someone in your team like Lucy's got, say, for example, Michelle Behe. She's very keen. She's on the ball. She's getting customers. She's getting new franchisees. She's doing events, etc., etc. You know, it would be in your interest, Lucy, to make sure she's aware of the training 1, 2, and 3. And even when you've got time, to see if there's anything on that, yeah, I really need to show Michelle that, or I need to ask Hillary to show me a little bit better so I can show Michelle, etc., etc. So what you teach needs to be duplicatable. So I'd strongly suggest you actually have this handy all the time. Then it really just goes on to say the first 7 to 10 days, be in contact every day, add them to Hunters and Gatherers Road to SDVF Facebook group, complete their application, and optional, and this is very topical at the moment, hold until the franchisee gets 2 to 3 orders or equivalent to 1,000 points, leading to a $100 bonus. That doesn't always work. Sometimes they need to make the commitment to get out there. Number 2 was the first 48 hours. You want to encourage them to watch video 1 on Hunters and Gatherers Road to SDVF. And the key strategies on that is their why and other tasks. Establish 2 to 3 launch event dates, whether they're formal, whether they're coffee meetups, 3-ways or Zooms. Help with their product and business stories. The steps are in the starter guide. So really, just on your first meeting, you're going to be sort of going through this. And even if it really wouldn't hurt, if you've got them there with you live, it wouldn't hurt, just watch that quick video 1 together. Some of them are only 3, 4, 5 minutes anyway. Do the memory jogger as homework and do the dream team list for prospective franchisees. Watch video 2. This simplifies the first 40 days. Use the preferred customer cumulative tally form found in files in Hunters and Gatherers Road to SDVF. So without me just reading this, you guys know how to read. I just want to say to you that this is the most important sheet you can have with a new person. 1, you're not going to overwhelm them. 2, you're going to equip them to get a good start, quick start. And also you've both got a copy of it. And in those first 7 to 10 days when you're in contact every day, you just keep going through it and see where they're up to. Everyone understand that? All right, so I just want to really clarify that tonight. The other thing is as well, I'm just trying to think who wasn't there. Bryan Marsh, when he spoke at our summit, now Mel wasn't there, Tanya wasn't there, and Lucy wasn't there. So I'm just going to share with you, I had a look at some of my notes because I found him really impressive. And just because you were there, it doesn't mean to say that you've gotten your notes out again or you reflected and thought about it. So I thought tonight it really wouldn't hurt to just go through a few things and trip your memory. So he talked about Walt Disney, got 299 no's before someone said a yes to do his Disney stuff, his Walt Disney and Disney World, etc. So he says to people, is your vision built to last, your why? So basically saying, like we've always said, your why does need to be strong, or your why must you do this needs to be so strong, because that's got to support you through getting a hell of a lot of no's. I think I've shared with you before this delightful new NMD. When I was only about 2 years into the business, I went to a conference at the States. I think I've often told you this. She said, when I congratulated her, she said, why, honey, it just means I've had more no's than you. So that strong why and that dream of what it's going to bring you, whether it's in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, for some of you younger ones, because it doesn't matter if it doesn't happen in a hurry, just as long as you're progressing is the main thing. So there's a lot of no's to get through so you can get to the yeses. The yeses are out there, guys. You couldn't have all the NMDs we've got in Australia if there weren't a hell of a lot of yeses. Agreed? Right. So I'm not going to go through his vision, but here's a really good script. Now, tonight seems to be the focus on script. This is a script that when he was talking about what he says, I thought this is so perfect for me, And the reason why I went through these notes was I remembered he said something, some sort of a script, and I want to learn it myself and put it into my words so it sounds true and real for me. So this is a great thing to say. When someone says, what do you do? Like even we've got Nicole on the Zoom tonight. Instead of Nicole saying, I've got a beautiful natural skincare business, that's already up and going, and that's trading time for money and a lot of time for money. Whereas Juice Plus and the passive and the residual income later on, you're not going to be doing that so much. And that's another thing that Simon Mitchell said. I love that. He said, you know, he's met a lot of big leaders around the world. And he said, you know, if you really want to earn millions of dollars, you know, all the time, you've really got to be prepared to work. And, you know, some of us, we'd be quite happy with a couple of $100,000 a year rather than millions. So it's all relative what you want. But basically, this is what is a really good thing to say. I teach others to create a stay-at-home business which can guide them to extra money of their choosing, whether it's a bit extra or heaps. So that really is a very easy thing to say. Say it in your lingo, what sounds right to you. And even sometimes you can actually say it in a way to whoever the recipient of your conversation is, how you think it'll sound to that person. So I'm just going to say that again. I teach others to create a stay-at-home business which can guide them to extra money of their choosing, whether it's a bit extra or heaps. And the three things that Bryan said he did, he made sure right from the very start, he grew because he wasn't a network marketer. He hadn't had a Juice Plus business before. He absolutely studied the book and the audio GoPro by Eric Worre. Now, a lot of you are gifted, whether it's a book or audio, but can you honestly say you've read it from cover to cover and starting to read it again? I personally think the audios are amazing. So anytime you're going further than a couple of streets away, just have it ready, the CD in your car, or however you like to listen to things, and just listen to it, because I know it's something that I play. Anytime that I'm going to someone's event or a launch, I play, and nearly every time there's something that I've listened to on Eric Worre that I use in that presentation. So I'd like to encourage all of us, myself included, to do another revamp on Eric Worre's GoPro. What have we got to lose, guys? Who's thrilled to bits with where their business is right now? I'm grateful, but I'm not thrilled to bits where it is. So GoPro it is. What have we got to lose? Okay, so first thing he did, he grew by using the GoPro stuff. The next thing he did was he stepped right out of his comfort zone. And then what he did and what he's still doing, he hustled. That's all he said. He grew personal growth-wise with Eric Worre GoPro. He then stepped out of his comfort zone time and time again, and he's just continued hustling. And really, when you think about it, we've got a really good example there with Lucy. That's exactly what Lucy is doing. But we can all do more. Okay. Another thing is too, I think sometimes we really kid ourselves and we pretend like this is actually a very simple and easy business if you just stick to the basics and don't get too carried away with all the nitty-gritty. But it's actually hard work, because it's hard work until you get to a level of income and team that you're happy with. Once you're happy there, you can just consolidate and pretty much keep it there. Like I could keep my team like this here, and then I could have a lovely income for the rest of my life. But I'm choosing to do more. Okay. He says, know that the treasure is definitely out there, and also know that you can find it. The treasure's out there, and know that you can find it. Believe that you can find it, and also believe and know that that treasure we're all looking for will be worth it. Because I think you'd all have to agree with me, when you hear any NMD story, it's not all strawberries and cherry picking. It's not all beautiful, smooth sailing. They've got some fantastic stories. And every NMD I know, even now to this day, the ones who've so-called made it, we go up and down, up and down, up and down. It is normal. but it is worth it. Okay, and he says the biggest treasure he wants to get across to people is that performance bonus qualification of 1,800. So, you know, pretty much we've got about a dozen people who are really quite active now in the team, and they just get it. They understand that that's their goal. It's no good building a team if you're not going to do the 1,800 qualification yourself. That's where the treasure is. And something that I've been not backwards in coming forwards in telling people lately, it's a beautiful thing to help people. And yes, we want them to have the product, and it's great to have customers, but the money at the end of the month is in building a team. And it's in building a team wide and deep. Like, I could sit with each and every one of you and say to you, look, you're entitled, say, to be paid down 3 qualifying generations or 4 or whatever it is. Look at the big gaps there. Some of you aren't even going down to a 2nd generation. It's money that's yours for the asking. We've just got to get people. And I know that's not simple. Okay. Are you rock solid that you're going to get there? Do you actually believe? Because remember all those 4 beliefs that we talk about? The belief in yourself is the belief that you can do this work, but do you actually rock solid believe that you're going to get where you want to? Assuming you all want to get to NMD and have a minimum $10,000 a month. Are you rock solid in that belief? That's something you need to ask yourself. And if you're not, well, yeah, please talk to me, because all of us are capable of doing what the other so-called stars are doing. And also, people, when you're dealing with people, whether it's existing customers or getting customers or trying to get franchisees with all these scripts that Natalie and everyone was talking about, people need to feel you have a solution to their problem. So you must be a listener. You must be a master asker. And it's a conversation I had with Michelle on her coaching call a couple of weeks ago. You've got to listen. And I say this every week. All of us, when we're in a conversation, even if it's at a barbecue, to a total stranger who you haven't actually presented Juice Plus to, listen for their pain. And also on a lighter note, listen to their desires. Oh, travel, that's what I'm doing. That's why I do my stay-at-home business, my extra part-time business. That's for my travel fund. It's so exciting. So, where's that? The last thing I want to touch on, if I can find my book here 2 seconds ago, give me 2 secs. I wanted to actually reassure all of you, like, I'm sure you've heard of some network marketing, multi-level companies who all of a sudden you've heard a lot about them and then they just die. All of a sudden they're just not there anymore. So Gordon really, really put to us how amazing our company is. And they've got a thing called the VR movement that's in the company. But I'm just going to go through a few of these notes to share for those of you who weren't there, and for the ones who were there, it might twig again. So he entitled, when he first started speaking, about why the best is yet to come for Juice Plus and what the company is doing to ensure it. So what he's saying is we haven't seen anything yet. The best is yet to come. So it's a fact. He said, as the world evolves, we the franchisees, we have to evolve. We can always have to be improving, or there's stasis. And I've had stasis in my whole team and my business from time to time. So you've got to evolve. Okay, what can I do that I'm not doing, or what did I used to do that I can start doing again when it was working? So you've got to evolve all the time. You've got to keep up with the times. So I can't just say, well, I'm not going to go on this Facebook and have a team page there because that's not me. That's for the youngies. That would be me not evolving. So direct selling, network marketing as a business opportunity model, that has to evolve. Juice Plus has to be a leader in the marketplace. So, but he really, and this for an oldie, this really made me feel good and made me feel much better at what I've decided to do myself. He said, Juice Plus has to protect timeless principles. You will never, ever, ever get better than telling someone your story face to face, showing them your excitement, your passion. Would you agree? So they are timeless principles. Face to face, belly to belly will never go away. So having events like Lucy's doing a lot in her team, they are so important. That won't go away. Social media won't take that away because, you know, you might get people into your business on social media. You might even get customers. But is that really going to give them a sense of belonging and fun? Not nearly as much as all meeting and doing face masks or whatever it is that the event is doing. So he also said that timeless principles of good customer care, one-on-ones, face-to-face, exactly what I just said. And he said that with direct sales, it's actually, you should be calling it social selling, because what we're doing is leveraging social networks. So it's social selling more than direct sales. So socially, you're out and about, and you're talking to people and you're really selling something. So direct sales network marketing has grown 300% in the last 15 years. So maybe 19 years ago when I started, there was a bit of a stigma. Now there's so many people doing it, it's almost the norm. With social media, people involved, there's an 850% increase. 107 million people in the world are network marketers. And he talked about the economy, and the economy is pretty crummy at the moment. And he said, historically, network marketing performs better than the economy. So, you know, you can be out of a job, not doing very well, but network marketing usually thrives when that happens. So why are people joining? He says it's still the same. It's no risk. It's a low startup. It's low fixed costs. It's quick profit, time flexibility, and it's global, and there's wealth creation. So consumers, though, they do have choices. So we have to make sure that we've got the experience that the consumer wants. So for those of you who think you can actually survive and do really well and not do customer care, you need to think again, because the customer experience is everything. And also, it's us out there doing good customer care and being chatty and fun and looking for people's pains and maybe their desires. We're going to actually we're going to change the perception of network marketing. We just share stories. We're not selling. We try and help people. Our mission is to help people. So we definitely, and on that note, he said we've got to be so careful, particularly with social media, that we're not misrepresenting our product or our business opportunity. We don't want to do great big porcupines, how, first 6 months we should be able to get you up to $5,000-$10,000. Yeah, it's doable, but that's absolute stars and it's not the norm. So, rather than say the wrong thing, don't say anything like that at all. Okay, our customer base, one of the other reasons why, we're around for a long time, we're only just beginning, our customer base is stable and growing. This is a huge differentiation. So let me tell you why. How many times have you had someone, a friend of you, who does some sort of a network marketing thing? They've got a fabulous product and they're raving to you about it, and you say, oh, I'd love to try some, and they say, oh yeah, we've got to sign you up an account so you can get it. I've had that so often. So basically what he's saying is that Juice Plus has always been and always will be, the majority of our customers, our business is end consumers. They're not distributors. Like, I've had, at least in the last 10 years, at least 6 products that I've wanted to purchase, but they've said, no, you've got to be a distributor first. And of course, I haven't taken them up on it. I've just gone without the product. We are very, very different in that, guys. The fact that we just have customers, they don't have to join the business. Okay, so he also says one of the reasons why we'll keep growing is that the health problem in the world will continue to grow. I think we all would be kidding ourselves if we think all of a sudden everyone's going to give up all the junk food and the Coke and the energy drinks and eat lots more fruits and vegetables. And life is more stressful, even more now. And quite frankly, I think there's more blooming chemicals and technical stuff and all stuff that's polluting the environment anyway. But he's basically saying with that terrible healthcare problem, the greater the problem, the greater the opportunity for network marketing, particularly for Juice Plus. We're in such a good position. So he then, very briefly before I finish tonight, he talked about the BR movement. This is the business reimagination. So if you think about the fact that Bronnie and myself and Tamara started 19 years ago, the guys who are at the helm, and a few of them still are, they're all getting old. They're older than me and they're ready to retire. So they have got, I can't think what the plan is, like when the king come, the next king, I can't think of the word at the moment, but they've got people who are being trained up to take their place and doing very well. In fact, the last conference I went to in the US, I couldn't believe it because I expected to see a lot of the old people in the company on stage, and they had their new people up there. So it's really, really good to see that. But basically what they're doing, the company, this business reimagination, they're spending an absolute fortune. They're having a 360-degree look at the entire company, the entire business, and to see where they need to spend money to keep with the times and to keep it, you know, because we can't just rest on our laurels and do everything we did 19 years ago. Yes, we've got to keep the timeless principles, but we've got to be with the new ways as well. So, and he said, you know, we've got to have this entrepreneurial model that is Juice Plus, because there's virtually few jobs now and there's going to be even less. And network marketing is on the rise, and Juice Plus is spending dollars to keep up. Sales have doubled in the last 6 years. And I didn't know that. That's worldwide sales have doubled in the last 6 years. So that's probably enough from me tonight. I'm just going to stop the recording.